Hey y'all, it is me, Chestnut Littleberry. I am here with you all for a brand new first episode of Whole Vibrations. This episode is going to be very, very special to me because I actually scrapped all of my previous podcast episodes because I am dedicating my podcast to bringing awareness to some things that are going on in my life and in the world. My sole purpose of doing this podcast is to bring attention to some very odd things that are going on in my life. So I just want to thank you guys if you tuned in. Thank you for tuning in. And I guess we'll get this thing started. So I want to introduce myself. My name is Chestnut Littleberry. I am 29 years old. I am from West Monroe, Louisiana, born and raised. I am of sound mind and sound body. And I am going to be talking to you guys about some things that have been going on in my personal life. So, for about the past 2 weeks, I have had an epiphany. And I have decided that I am going to expose some information that I had been holding in out of fear. Fear of my life, fear of my child's life, and fear of my for my family and friends. But it's important that I get this information out because if I don't, there are lots of people that could be harmed aside from the ones that have already been harmed. And I have to be able to get this done before anything happens. First, I do want to give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for bringing me this far in my journey so that I could be able to speak, not only speak freely, but speak truthfully and openly about my experience. Uh, I'm going to be breaking these episodes up because, of course, I'm going to have new things to say as time goes on. I want to let you all know that I would like to let you guys know that in this time that we're in this season, it's important that we all repent and turn away from our wicked ways before it's too late. Jesus Christ is real. Um, God is real. Satan is real. And we've just reached a point in time in history where it's so crucial that we promote to the youth and everyone in the world to follow Christ because I honestly don't think we have much longer. Uh, all right, so let me get started. I'm going to let you guys know if you've been tuning into my Twitter, or my TikTok, you've been tuning into my Facebook, they're all ran by me. These are my words. I have been releasing information that is involving people in the industry, specifically DJ Vlad of Vlad TV. I have been cyber stalked, gang stalked, harassed. I have been sex trafficked. I have been drugged. I have been humiliated, blackmailed, extorted, among other things, since I met DJ Vlad back whenever I was 16 years old. I met him on a game called Second Life, or it's not a game actually. I don't want to mislead any of y'all. It's not a game. In a virtual world called Second Life, I was playing, or I was in world. Uh, I was in world and I was playing under the username Chris Delicious O. And DJ Vlad, because of course I was young, doing things that I was young and just trying to explore the virtual world and see what was going on. DJ Vlad approached me and he ended up doxing me. So if you don't know what doxing is, it's whenever a person takes your real life information such as your phone number, address, real life pictures, and puts them out. So he doxed me. He sent me a picture of my home address, which I hadn't given to anyone because I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm a 16-year-old online and I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. I was always taught not to do it. And he doxed me. Now, whenever he doxed me, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was picking up food from my local Subway, and I just remember walking back out to my dad's truck at the time, and I picked up my phone, and I got his message, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like I don't know who this guy is. I'm not trying to have relations or nothing with this guy. Let me go ahead and block him. So I blocked him. I'm thinking I'm never gonna see him again, never gonna hear from him again. It's just he's blocked now. Now, little did I know, he has some type of fascination with me. I honestly think he has some type of a fetish toward black women. Um, I don't. I've heard that I don't think he's married, but I think he just has relations with whomever he wants. But I know that he is a narcissist he's very controlling and very manipulative. So little did I know when I was 16 that he would um, follow me or cyberstalk me. See, whenever I was doxxed, I was told by him that he was either a correctional officer or a police officer, one or the other. It was something tied into um, the judicial system. So, correctional officer, police officer, whatever. And so I believe that's how he was able to obtain my information and be able to dox me. He has some type of ties to uh the feds or the legal system. Um he ended up cyber stalking me, so I ended up making another profile later on in my life once I was of age. I was 19 whenever I made this profile, and he ended up coming into a venue that I was in at the time. I was 19. I was virtually stripping and earning uh, lendings, and Second Life lendings is currency. You pay for lendings with real money and you spend that virtual currency in world. So I was virtual stripping and he approached me asking for services. Again, y'all, at this time I was 19. But whenever I ended up linking with him, again, I'm not knowing that this is the guy because he's made a different profile at this point. And I'm just going to tell you guys my profile at this point is Artify, which is spelled Artify. At the time, I didn't realize how crazy artificial intelligence was going to blow up because, of course, in present day, everything's artificial intelligence. I don't know. I just picked that name at the time. And his username at the time was Dr. Dream. And when he approached me in the virtual strip club in Second Life that he approached me at is called Bishes, Bishes. He got me into one of the VIP rooms, which if you go into a VIP room, it's like a private room, just like in real life, but of course it's virtual. And he he requested that I get on a Skype. It was either a Skype or a Zoom call with him. And of course, if you know anything about virtual uh sex worker services, you can offer cam shows, you can offer uh phone exotic good stuff. But he wanted me to do a Skype call with him. Now, when we got in the Skype call, he turned on, or we were video chatting or whatever. So he knew what I look like. I know that a lot of the girls that end up getting tracked down and groomed like this, uh, they'll end up telling the girls that they're liars because they either didn't tell their real age or they didn't know what I look like. Y'all have to remember this man knows exactly who I am, all of my information. We first encountered each other online, and that's as far as I know. He may have known me since before I was 16 in the virtual world, because my first time getting in the virtual world, I was about 10 years old, and I was playing Habbo Hotel, where I met one of his associates, Adam22, under the username Cody LH21, but that's a whole nother story. Back to this, he cut on the Skype call or whatever, the video camera, and he was in a very dark room. Like, everything was black. I couldn't see him. Basically, the only thing that could be seen is me. Now, at the time, I didn't realize that he was recording me in an attempt to use that footage later to blackmail me and also make an attempt to kidnap my child. So when we were in or on this Skype or Zoom call, I think it was Skype though, he had on a voice changer. Like, if you watch his interviews on his channel, he usually speak with his own voice, but he does use voice altering technology to operate his other channels and sometimes his own channel, because he makes up a name but it's really him. I don't know. Whatever. And he basically sat me down and he told me that he wanted to watch something. He started playing some very inappropriate content involving minors. I told him that I was not comfortable. He told me that if I don't stay, that he's a police officer or whatever, and he will ruin my life, ruin my credentials, take down, harm my family. He told me this, and y'all have to understand, I was terrified. Like, I was absolutely terrified. I had never encountered anything like that. I'm thinking this, at the time, I wasn't putting together that this is that individual that met me. They really don't want me to tell this information. At the time, I wasn't realizing that this is the individual that met me when I was 16. But I was just afraid. So I just sat there and I was like, all right. And he specifically talked me through these fantasies that he had. These fantasies involved uh lesbianism and and just some real inappropriate stuff. So after that all went down, he it happened. I was just like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? And then, excuse my language, y'all, because I'm working on being better. I was like, what? And I literally literally pushed that to the back of my mind. Like, I was just like, all right, that was just a real creepy experience. I gotta go on with my life. Now, I didn't know that after that, he had still been involved in my life somehow. Because you guys have to understand, these sex trafficking rings and child trafficking rings, they are funded by major corporations. They are ran by major corporations. It's put in our face, but it's hidden. So, like, there really are people tied up in law enforcement. There really are people tied up in these hospitals and medical centers, Walmart, all these different places. They have the missing and exploited children posters. How do we know that those aren't auction posts for people to pick what children they want? They also, I want to make it clear, these type of people with this type of power and these resources, they target children that are impoverished or come from poverty. Most times they target people that come out of foster care. I did notice that. I noticed that one of his regular guests that he has on is the game. And he does go on to tell us that he was in foster care. Tiffany Haddish, foster care. I'm gonna have to go and kind of continue to watch his interview so I can piece these things together. But yeah, he targets a certain demographic. Um, After that night, of course, I was thinking this stranger has me on camera. Uh, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just tried to push to the back of my mind. Now, fast forward in my life, I ended up having I ended up having my child. My child's name is Kylan Littleberry. As of today, he is 7. I had him in 2016. God is works in such a mysterious way that my baby's birthday is 10 days before Vlad's birthday. And I think that just speaks to how um, God will show us things through signs. Uh, I started to go in a downward spiral. Like, I just noticed that there were certain people in my life that were around me that were wanting me to indulge in activities that I wasn't comfortable with, or that were doing things sneakily that I didn't realize were tied up into him. Like, I noticed that I could be talking about something or have said something in my house where no one else is, and it's being repeated here and there. They do all these psychological uh all this psychological warfare. COVID hit, which, if COVID was just a means of keeping us in the house, it was very strategically planned out, because around that time a lot of things were getting ready to be revealed. And of course, the people that are committing these crimes don't want their information coming out. Um, People call me a conspiracy theorist, and it's fine. But if you know anything about science and technology, which I'm gonna go ahead and congratulate DJ Vlad for having a degree in computer science. Uh, you know that a lot of people were saying that the COVID vaccine was a means of injecting people with nanoparticles that can cause major effects to their bodies. Hence why people were asked to get boosters so that it can increase whatever chemical alterations had been done. Of course, I have denounced Satan and I have accepted my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ into my life. So the energy weapons that they've been using against me before, they no longer work on me because I have chosen to live a life for Christ and I have decided to fast. So I do not eat or drink for extended periods of time so that my body can detox. Also, I do not indulge in behaviors that are destructive, such as drinking, smoking, clubbing, having sex. I am completely free of all of those things. Those were the very control tactics that they used to keep me quiet and keep me subdued. I know when Cassie filed her lawsuit on P. Diddy, I know you guys kind of heard that she was being uh drugged and made to have sex with different people for his pleasure. I mean, they literally, and I think Cassie was 19, about the same age that I was whenever I got blackmailed. They go after the young girls and they groom them. Like a lot of you guys be focused on saying stuff like, "Oh, she just like her mama. She's the crackhead. She's the alcoholic." Well, well. But what you guys don't ever speak out on is that the fact that these girls are very young and that these men that are targeting them are very old with many resources and connections. So I say that to say that these women are victims. Like, y'all can do your slander campaigns and you'll notice men like DJ Vlad that will speak out in his interviews and say things to intimidate the girls that he has groomed. He'll say things like, "Oh, it's past the statute limitation, so there's nothing that can be done." Or you'll hear Lil Boosie say stuff like, "R. Kelly is the greatest songwriter of all time," and you know why that is. It's because birds of a feather flock together. And those that decide not to speak on the truth, they will fall at the wayside, as our Father has said. Um, my overall view on Vlad is that I honestly think something happened to him as a child that triggered this narcissistic, hyper controlling attitude or mentality. And that's why he does this to people. I have grown secure in myself. I had to overcome a lot of insecurities. I had people saying that I was a liar. I had people, my child was taken out of my care. My child is currently in the custody of DCFS. He was taken out of my care illegally. He was sedated by a nurse at St. Francis Medical Center after we'd gone for treatment. He was sedated by her. Not only was he sedated by her, but she refused to identify herself, which is illegal. And I have her on film. And I believe that this was done at I think DJ Bled is the ringleader. Like how P. Diddy was the ringleader in Cassie's situation, DJ Bled would be my ringleader. Like how people say that Jay-Z is the ringleader for Beyonce and Rihanna, DJ Bled is my ringleader. Like if you look into him, he has videos of me, more than likely in my homes that I've occupied, local businesses that I've gone to. I'm under high surveillance, even up until this day. I know you heard some of R. Kelly's victims say that they were forced into houses, um, stowed away to where they couldn't be seen. They just was made to do things that was very immoral, and he targeted all of them when they were very young girls. This is the same situation. Uh, I want to speak on Aoki Simmons. I saw a video of her out on some island with some 60-year-old man. That girl's with 20 something. Her mom was like real, real young when she met her dad. A lot of y'all end up saying stuff like, "Oh, she just like her mom," but y'all just fail to place blame on the men that groom these girls. You fail to place blame on these men, and I don't like that. But it's okay because Revelations is revelation is here and everything's being brought into the light. I'm praying for all the victims, not just the celebrity girls. I'm praying for the girls that are nobodies. See, with my situation, back in 2017, I had a friend of mine that had been murdered, and I raised a GoFundMe in order to give funds to their family to help with funeral costs. Uh, and whenever I did that, I was interviewed by a news reporter for Mike.com. And when I was interviewed, of course, it made headlines. And so my name's Cheston Littleberry. I'm one of one. There's no other person in this world that has my name. And if I speak out on anything and it's brought into national headlines, everybody's going to see it. So I just decided that I was going to speak out. I decided that I was going to speak out because if I don't speak out, then I don't think the girls that don't have that notoriety would be able to speak out and get as much attention or as I would. So let me go back into, yeah, I'm gonna bounce around a little bit because it's just so much that has to come out. Like this is gonna be a real long video. Um so fast forward, he's recorded me. He has the recording or whatever that he's gonna blackmail me with. I started noticing things in my life that I just never really my naiveness didn't allow me to pay close attention to. 'Cause I've always been very naive. I grew up as a very quiet child. I've always been told that I talk too much and I need to be quiet, but I grew up quiet because I had been sexually abused from a very young age. And for this new generation of people, I know y'all probably grow up with all kinds of family members. You're going to grow up with family members that's going to tell you, oh, don't talk about that. We just going to keep that in the house and all that. But let me tell y'all, they just telling y'all that so that they don't feel guilty about what has happened to you. They're going to paint you guys out to be liars. They're going to say, oh, no, you just made that up. Y'all are going to get all the backlash possible. Let me tell you guys something from experience. Do it anyways. If people wanted you to speak good, say good things about them, they would have behaved better. They would have protected you. They would have did everything necessary. If you feel some way about something that was done, say something. I tell my child all the time, if you feel harmed or somebody harmed you, somebody just say something. I don't care who it is. Mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, uncle. I don't care. Say something. Like, if I hadn't have been afraid of what that man was going to do to me when I was 19 and he made that video and I would have said something right then I could have nipped it. I feel like I could have nipped it in the bud, but I also believe in God's divine timing because back then we didn't have as many social media. Well, back to when I was 16, we didn't really have access or be able to just. I guess I feel like I wouldn't be believed because everybody calls me a liar so much. Um, I just had went through a lot. I had different people in my life that were supplying me with drugs. I have had people put things in my food. People had been trying to force me to drink. Like these traffickers and abusers and predators, all that, groomers, all that, they want you to be drunk and out of your mind and not knowing what's going on and high and sleepy. and not talking. That's what they want. Because how can I tell what's going on if I'm not in my right mind? They want to force you into psych wards and try to convince you that you're crazy. They want to use the people closest to you to turn against you and tell you don't go to anyone for help. They'll even pay these people off so that you will be silent. A lot of you guys have accepted payments on behalf of the backs of others and their children. And I think it's important that I say this, that those children that you abused, the child stars, the child actors, they're adults now and they are speaking out. And I hope, even though I feel like I'm just a small drop in a huge ocean, I hope that me speaking out can help save multitudes of women, men, and children. Free Justin Bieber. Free Doja Cat. Free Rihanna. Free Beyonce. Free Aoki Simmons. Free Kimora Lee Simmons. Rest in peace, Kim Porter. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston. Uh, Congratulations, Drake Bell, for speaking out. All those that were on the cast, on the documentary Quiet on Set, that spoke out. God is going to bless you all abundantly. Your speaking out will not fall on, will not be void. And the thing is, the more people that speak out and speak out against these crimes against humanity, that's when things start to change. Nothing's going to change if you be quiet and conform to your captives and your abusers. Nothing's going to change. You're either going to be in bondage for the rest of your life, or you are going to die. Like, those are definites. So if you choose not to speak, that's your choice, but you are going to die at some point. And if I were you, and that's why I had to make the decision, I would rather die on the right side of history and protect my child until there's nothing else that I can do. DJ Vlad, amongst other higher up entities, because don't get me wrong, he's just a worker. He's not the top, the head. Now, God speaks to me through numbers, y'all, and I just want to mention this. I noticed that Ari Spears' birthday is on April the 3rd. Now, I also found it strange that Clive Davis's birthday is on April the 4th. Now, whenever I finally took my leap of faith and decided to speak out and show my face and make sure that everyone knew it was me, that took place on April the 1st, which happens to be April Fool's Day, which I think is comical. But I also want to bring to you guys' attention that I attempted to take my life April of 2020, I think 2022, and I had to go to a behavioral unit. I was in there for Mother's Day. I just tried to take my life because I was just so tired of the harassment, tired of the bullying, tired of being told that I was lying when I knew I was telling the truth. Like most people, they try to drive you absolutely crazy. I went through a lot, almost all of it. Like how Britney Spears cut all her hair off and was waving that umbrella in traffic. Or like how Martin Lawrence was running around in the street looking crazy. Or how Dave Chappelle flew over to Africa for like 10 years, then came back out of nowhere. I went through all of it. I went through all of it. I had family members trying to tell me, don't speak out on your trauma. I had friends telling me, don't speak out on your trauma, because they was getting paid off. I went through all of it. I filed FBI reports. I did it all. My child was targeted and harmed. I went through it all. I went through it all. And now I'm done going through it all, because at the end of the day, people want to get paid. See, what they'll do when you're at your lowest, they'll get insurance policies on you because they feel like, okay, we're going to sacrifice her and we're going to get paid on. and nobody gonna ever know what happened to her. But I'm here to tell you guys that that's not gonna be my story. When it's all said and done, whether I live to see the next day or not, DJ Vlad and his associates are going to go down for what they have done, for their crimes against children, women, and men of color. They're going down. No Young Jock. Shout out to Young Jock for telling us about how Diddy forced Cassie to shave the side of her head. Because that is so normal, right? Like I said, I think it's so sad when people are abused as children and they grow up to be adults that continue a cycle of abuse for financial gain. I think that is one of the worst things that you could do. I honestly do. To sell your children, I think that's terrible. I think that's terrible. And I would never sell mine. For people that take pictures and videos of their children in compromising position, just hilarious. I think that's crazy. And it's right in our face. Like, y'all can check out my Twitter page that before they take it down. Even though I already did enough, so but before they take it down, y'all can check my Twitter page. Uh the at the is whole vibrations. I just feel like, in what society do we live in where you can have an album cover with a topless minor girl child and nobody says anything? The person that created the album cover for Rihanna's anti-album, I think you need to be looked into. Cause what in what world is that okay? Uh, I've dropped names in on my Twitter, on my TikTok, but I'm gonna make sure that these people are specifically mentioned. Alan York, who was drugging me, introduced me to ecstasy, um, and who that's an individual that I honestly think, while my child was in his care, when we stayed with him temporarily, I think he may have worked with DJ Vlad and his associates to obtain images of my child. He needs to be investigated. I reported it to local law enforcement. Nothing was done. These people are in cahoots, hence why nothing's done. My son is currently in the care of his biological grandmother, his dad's mother. His dad is incarcerated for armed robbery and kidnapping. Hmm. And he's also in the care of his grandmother's husband. I don't know him, but I do know that he's not biologically related to my son. And I suspect that my child may possibly be being harmed by her husband. He's supposed to be some deacon in the church, but as I've grown to learn, they hide under the guise of being religious. I don't trust him. I don't want him around him. When my child was with me, he was telling me uh, something pertaining to him having to hide his underwear in a drawer. If you've been abused, you know that some of these things are typical signs. He also had a severe bedwetting problem in the school that he's attending, New Vision Learning Academy in Monroe, Louisiana. They do not, on several occasions when he urinated on himself, they allow him to sit in his urine without calling his parent or his current caregiver to get him changes of clothing. This is very reminiscent to me of one of my former classmates that I went to school with, and we were in about the first grade. and he had a constant bedwetting problem. I'm not going to say his name out of respect for his story, and he could tell his story when he ready or whatever. But it reminded me of that, and how he had to sit in class with soiled clothing and nobody said anything. I think that's disgusting. Not my child. Okay. Uh, let's see. Mm, I don't want my child to be in the care of anybody other than me, because I don't trust anybody other than me. Literally, I don't trust that anybody other than me will care for my child without expecting some type of compensation or putting him in harm's way. Literally. I'm never going to trust a person that persuaded me to get an abortion. I'm never going to trust people that called me a liar whenever I said I was abused. I'm never going to trust you. And if anything happens to me or Kylan Littleberry, I need everybody to be looked into. That's why I love social media. There's a paper trail. I notice a common denominator with DJ Vlad. Whenever he interviews people and they say anything against Jewish culture, he gets really angry. Like how they did Kanye West when he spoke out against Jewish culture and Balenciaga and all that. They blackball him. Like Nick Cannon, when he said black people are the chosen people, we are the real Israelites, they blackball him. I am not on that level because I absolutely declined to get up there. I mean, they would really literally try to train you and mold you to be what it is that they want you to be. They'll have you eating a certain diet, working out. They'll send certain people around you to watch you and see what you're doing. Like this is a whole operation, a whole sex trafficking, child trafficking operation. Tiffany Haddish, I am so sorry for what happened to you. And I know you come from foster care. I am so sorry to you. The Game, I am so sorry to you. I am so sorry to y'all for getting roped up into this man's shenanigans under the guise that you guys thought y'all were going to be helped, for all the violence that you guys have seen, for all the family members that you guys have lost. I cannot wait until God, I cannot wait until, I just really can't wait until God reveals everything. Because, like I said, DJ Vlad is a worker, he's not a boss. And I think that something happened to him when he was young. Like I said, I don't know if it runs in the family. That's probably why he tries to keep such a low profile. And he always behind that camera. He just started coming out and let you see his face. But that's how you know God called for a divine time for him to be dealt with. Because I survived all of those attacks against me just to finally see and put the tie the loose ends up to who abused me, tried to blackmail me. They even went as far as to try to say that I indulge in activities with young adults. Let me tell you guys something. They will have family members, friends try to assassinate your character, make up lies on you so that none of them are caught. But I'm telling you, I even today, whenever I went on Facebook and started putting this information out, I stumbled upon a blog page called The Tea Room. It had a video of Aoki Simmons with her 60-some-year-old boyfriend. And I got in the comments and said DJ Vlad is a groomer. He needs to be investigated for his crimes against children. They replied, they said DJ Vlad is in defense. And then they deleted the post. And I have a screenshot of that because what? You're guilty. Now, this is just part one. I have so much more to say, but I just want y'all to know that I'm not backing down. And then I actually forgive the people that have been a part of this big elaborate plan to keep me down and take my child and sell him into a similar situation. But I'm telling you now, DJ Vlad and Associates, Clive Davis, whoever you're tied with, Quincy Jones, whoever you're tied with, that you buddy with, that's up there. My child will not be a slave for any of y'all. Y'all not gonna do to my child what you did to Usher and Justin Bieber. Okay? My child ain't going to Puffy flavor camp. You understand? I never sell my child into captivity. I'm here to free him along with other children, women and men. And if you know that this man did these things, now is your chance to be free. Say something. And if you're not going to say something, sit in your captivity until your death. But I ask, as I mentioned in this at the beginning of this video, my goal is to let the whole world know that Jesus Christ is King. God is real. God is pouring out his spirit and calling his people to spread the gospel so that we all may be free. The time is now. Also, if you guys are eating all those fatty foods, clogging your arteries, you guys are needing, I suggest that you all start fasting, water only fast or no food, no water. Start praying because you'll get mental clarity. And also, trust no one. Trust no one because any and everybody will turn their back on you and stab you right in it. To the youth out there that are on these virtual world platforms, do not give out your real life information. And if somebody does dox you and tells you that they know who you are and they're going to threaten your family, you need to say something. I don't care if it's a social media post, you need to speak out. We don't need any more people being kidnapped. We don't need any more people being sold into slavery. Okay? So all my foster children out there, adopted children that are going through and you don't know how to overcome, I'm here. If you have a question, ask. I can give you the rundown. I'm 29 years old and I've made it through things that the strongest of people I don't think could make it or have made it. Well, we all, we're God's children. He's going to give us the strength. Like I said, my name is Chestnut Littleberry. I'm one of one. And I'm not on Satan's side in any way. I don't support child trafficking. I don't support sex trafficking. I don't support pimping women, men, and children. I don't support anything that has to deal with abuse. But, I'm sorry I get a little passionate, you guys, because this has been a long time coming. But thank you guys for listening. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this episode. You guys can find me on TikTok at Chestnut Littleberry. You can find me on Twitter at Ho Vibrations. And you can find me on Facebook at Chestnut Littleberry. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email me at hovibrations@gmail.com. And I'm going to make a phone number to receive text messages at some point. So for those of you that are supporting my movement, I appreciate you all. I love you. I wish the best for you and your families. I pray a hedge of protection over you and your loved ones. God loves you more. For those of you that are against, I love y'all. I pray that you guys come to Christ, repent. I forgive you for the transgressions that you've made against me and my child, and we're going to keep it pushing. And sex trafficking, and child trafficking, and the industry that keeps people enslaved. Take the chains off. Y'all have the option to be free. Kanye West told you guys slavery is an option. And what he means by that is that there are Harriet Tubmans and non-Harriet Tubmans. You all have a choice. You have free will. Y'all be blessed. May the Lord watch between you guys and me. Have a good day.